Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we are going to New Hampshire, a track that we got our first career win at last season in the Cup Series. So we're looking to do that today with another win, maybe get our fourth career win, which would be very nice. But it's going to be hard to make that happen there. As you see the playoff standings on the screen, Ryan Blaney right now, the first car out after Bubba Wallace won in Daytona, pushing him out of the playoffs. So he's 10 points out right now. He's obviously in a position to still be able to point his way in, but he's going to have to really do a good job to beat Chase Elliott into the playoffs now as we come to the Xfinity Series race. Hailie Deegan at a very solid starting position, starting on that third bottom line now in the fifth position. She would quickly, though, on the initial start, drift backwards all the way back to the 8th position on the first lap. So it wasn't a great start for her, but she would work her way up just a little bit throughout this race as we came through, as Hamrick continued to lead this race, as she would work her way up to P6 by the midway point here in New Hampshire, running behind the number 1 of the one main Chevy of Elliott Sadler now as she came down the back straightaway, just trying to close in on the back of the one of Sadler as it went down into turns 3, and she was close to getting to him, but she just couldn't quite get there now as we came towards the final lap of this race. On the last half of the lap, still about the same gap between herself and Elliott Sadler as we come into turns 3 and 4. She makes a diving move to the outside and comes along Elliott Sadler now through the center of the corner, but she just went a little too wide and couldn't hang on, and she would lose the momentum and come through to get P6 in New Hampshire. So a very good job by Hailie Deegan as Justin Allgaier brought home the victory for JRM at the end of this race, as we get obviously a good chunk of money from that as Hailie Deegan sits P5 in the standings, and that was actually Justin Allgaier's first win on the season, surprisingly, as usually we kind of expected him to have maybe 2 or 3 wins by now at least. But either way, $900,000, over $900,000 to the team at the end of New Hampshire for the Xfinity Series. And as we focus our sights in on the Cup race for myself, we look to get our 4th career win, as well as I said earlier, our 2nd win in New Hampshire. I will point out last season I used a custom setup here, and we dominated. This time around, I will not be using a custom setup. I will just be using a preset setup. So we are certainly going to be a little bit slower, and we were a little bit slower as we came into qualifying. We still made the final round, but last season we got the pole here, and as we came through turns 3 and 4, on the exit of turn 4, down the front straightaway, as we come across the line, we come through to hit a 30.294, and I decided to call it there and retire from the session, and we would qualify in the 3rd position for New Hampshire. So still a great starting spot for this race.
Today, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series makes its one and only stop at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the running of the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301. Opened in 1990, this 1-mile oval racetrack is in Loudon, about an hour north of Boston. New Hampshire previously hosted 2 NASCAR Cup events, but lost its playoff race to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in 2018. So, these drivers only have one chance to make it count here. The green flag is in the air. Let's get ready to go racing on PRN.
All right, we are ready to get underway in New Hampshire. Kyle Busch does start on the pole. Case Gaines been dominant apparently all weekend in practice, and there you see Kyle Busch, your pole winner, with us starting behind him in that 3rd position as we get ready to go green in New Hampshire now. As we are ready to go, Ryan Blaney starts P2 on the outside of the 18 as we go towards the restart zone, and the green flag is down. We are underway in New Hampshire, going to give a shove to that 18 right off the bat, and he does not have a great initial start to this race as Blaney in 2nd place actually edges him out going down into turns 1 as we slide up the track, making a little bit of contact with Boyer now in the middle of a 3 wide through turns 1 and 2, getting a little dramatic already early on in this event as Kyle Busch leads down the back straightaway as we head into turns 3. Now clear from the Ford Harvick, looking to the inside of Ryan Blaney through turns 3 and 4, trying to take 2nd place away as now as we look towards the exit of the corner, had to get out of the throttle a bit, allowing Blaney to clear me down the front straightaway, so we'll keep in the 3rd position, trying to close in and take that 2nd spot as Kevin Harvick makes a diving move to my inside, and I had to stay up top just so I would not go down into him and make some contact as we exit turn 2. Though a ton of momentum, and you're going to see that throughout this race, we have a lot of momentum compared to the AI on the exit of turn 2 down the back straightaway as we go into turn 3, looking once again to the inside of Ryan Blaney in that number 12 car as we come through the center of the corner. He is going to have the momentum down the front straightaway on the exit of turn 4 as we would continue to ride behind him for a few laps as we came to lap 4. Once again, Almirola now looking to my inside as we come through turns 1 and 2, sliding through the entrance of the corner. Now as we exit turn 2, though, we will get the momentum to clear Almirola down the back straightaway and close in once again on the back of Blaney, but not able to get to his inside. And we're going to look to his outside this time, though, through turns 3 as he slowed up quite a bit on this entrance of the corner. Now as we come through the center, still alongside, but he clears me once again on the exit of 4, and this time Almirola was able to look to my inside as we came across the line, but fortunately I think we will have the speed to keep him off of us as we come through turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Johnson's going to join the party. We certainly lost a lot of momentum, but as we come out of turn 2, a huge shot down the back straightaway, looking to the inside of Almirola now as we head down into turns 3, side by side with the 10 of Almirola as we will clear him into turns 3, now moving back into that 3rd position. And we would continue to ride behind the 12 of Blaney for the next handful of laps. By the time we came to lap 10, with just 8 laps to go in this first stage, you see Jimmy Johnson now looking to my inside, and I'd had to give him the room. Now as we come through the center of the corner on the exit of turn 2, obviously we build up the momentum to keep the 48 behind me for the moment at least, as he certainly seems to have a pretty fast car. And as we go through the center of turn 3, getting sideways now through the center of the corner, trying to close in on the back of the 12 of Blaney as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car looking to my inside across the line to hit 7 laps to go in this first stage as we head down into turns 1 and 2. Now Jimmy Johnson looking to my inside as he slides up a bit through the center of the corner now as he has the edge on the exit of turn 2, but we build up the momentum to once again pass him down the back straightaway and clear him as we head down into turns 3. And as we head in turn 3 once again, all over the back bumper of Blaney, and Jimmy Johnson's going to look to my inside, but we're going to kind of chop his nose to make him back out of the situation as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway. Pretty close to that 12 of Blaney still, but just could not quite get to him as we come to 2 laps to go. Now Johnson still all over my back bumper as he looks to my inside now as we, like I said, 2 to go in this first stage as we exit turn 2 down the back straightaway, clearing the 48 of Jimmy Johnson as we once again head down into turns 3, trying to hang on to that 3rd position. And as we come through turns 3, Jimmy Johnson once again looking to my inside now as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway, side by side with the 48 of Jimmy Johnson as we come across the line and hit the white flag in the first stage. Now as we head down into turns 1, he's going to clear me as Kyle Busch is in command in this first stage to win and get a playoff point now as we exit turn 2, giving up the spot to Johnson, but we build up a big run down the back straightaway and we look to his inside as we head down side by side into turn 3 with the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. And we briefly look to the inside of the 12 of Blaney through the center of the corner, but as we come out of turn 4, Kyle Busch is going to lead the way as he will win stage 1, and we will come through to finish 3rd behind the 12 of Blaney in the first stage, just over 4th as well of Jimmy Johnson in the number 48 car, as it looks like Joey Logano is awarded the last position for stage points. There he is down in 10th, and no one was pitting on this first pit stop, so obviously, or on this first stage, and so obviously I didn't pit either, and we would come out still in P3, ready to go green here in New Hampshire. The second stage is underway, and we are going once again in New Hampshire, pushing that 18, and just like the initial start of this race, he does not get as good of a start as the 12 of Ryan Blaney as we go into turns 1, once again sliding up into the 12 of Blaney, but we hang on to the car now as Truex is going to take us 3 wide on the exit of turn 2, and we will clear the 78 and the 12 down the back straightaway. Certainly not what I wanted to do, was getting into the 12, but it was kind of unavoidable as I started sliding into turns 1 just like I did there into turns 3. But as we come through turns 3 now on the exit of turn 4, closing the gap to the number 18 Toyota Camry of Kyle Busch as we come across the line to complete the first lap in this second stage, with just now 15 laps remaining in stage 2 as Martin Truex Jr. the 78, now a 2-time champion in our series, has closed up on the back of us as we have a huge run down the back straightaway, but before we get a chance to make a move, we would end up getting a caution from the AI, and that would set us up for another restart as we had a bit of an audio cutout there. But as we get ready to go green from the second position now, starting beside Kyle Busch, green flags back out as we head down towards the line. Casey Kane sitting behind me in P4. Not a great restart for myself as we head down into turns 1. Truex on my inside now as we head through the corner, sliding up the track. Gonna give away a couple positions now through turns 1 and 2. Kyle Busch comes out of turn 2, still leading over the 78 of Truex as we are once again set behind the 12 of Blaney as we head down into turns 3, making a diving move to his inside though, trying to gain the position over him as now Truex looks to that left rear of Kyle Busch, but he's unable to make the move to his inside as we clear the 12 of Blaney out of turn 4 after we kind of squeezed him up the track. And now Kurt Busch looks to my inside as we head down into turns 1 with just 11 laps to go in stage 2 as the 78 gets very sideways up ahead as Blaney and Logano look to my inside. Blaney backs out of it and Joey Logano's not going to be able to hang on my inside as we clear him down the back straightaway, sitting in P4 right now. And I knew the second stage was probably going to be the roughest stage for myself as the tire wear really starts to come in probably within the next handful of laps. But obviously we already had a caution in the stage, which shortens it up quite a bit now as Jimmy Johnson looks to my inside as we came across the line. Hits 10 laps to go in this second stage, and we're certainly starting to drop down the order a little bit here through stage 2 now as we exit turn 2, once again pulling away from that 22 of Logano, and we will clear him again down the back straightaway. And as we head down into turn 3, Jimmy Johnson checks up and we're going to get into the back of him a little bit, but fortunately none of us get damaged from that situation now as we come through the exit now of turn 4. Johnson trying to pass the 41 of Kurt Busch on the inside line, and he would make that happen now as we come to lap 13 of 16 in stage 2. Running P7, we would drop down just a few more positions as we exit turn 2, just trying to make it to the end of this second stage in a top 10 position, and we would end up getting that as a caution once again would come out and end the stage early. So we would get P7 in stage 2 after this was a pretty short stage considering the cautions we have, and you see I made some adjustments to the car there as well as 4 tires and 2 cans of fuel. And the leader is now a car who stayed out that has a blown engine as green flag is up. The final stage is underway, and there he goes holding up the field as Martin Truex Jr. has just had his race potentially ruined as the inside line obviously has a terrible start behind that car that was blowing up as we head down into turns 1, getting very sideways, making contact with the 95 of Casey Kane as Kyle Busch leads over the number 48 car of Jimmy Johnson down the back straightaway as we head down into turns 3, taking Joey Logano and Kurt Busch 3 wide into turns 3 now, clearing them both just about as we come through the center of the corner. Now we do clear them as we exit turn 4 as Casey Kane looks to our inside as we come through to cross the line to complete this first lap in the final stage. And as we head into turns 1 to 22, and the 41 go for a bit of a slide up on the top of the track goes the 41, but he and Logano both hang on to it as we exit turn 2. And as we come down the back straightaway, closing the gap to the number 48 car of Jimmy Johnson as we head down into turns 3 as he lurks behind the first place runner of Kyle Busch as we come through turns 3 and on the exit now of turn 4. Johnson looking to the inside of Kyle Busch just about as we head down to come across the line to hit just 37 laps to go in New Hampshire as we come through turns 1 and 2. Casey Kane still lurking behind me as the 48 almost gets into the back of the 18 as we get sideways and putting me onto the apron, but it's actually going to work in my favor as we close right up on the back of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson as we head down into turns 3, hitting the wall a bit now as we come through the center of the corner on the outside of Jimmy Johnson as we try to, like I said earlier in this episode, try to get our second win at this track and career win number 4 as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway. By the time we came to lap 40, once again all over the back of the 48, looking to his inside this time with the momentum we got down the back straightaway as we come through turns 3 and 4, now clearing the 48 of Jimmy Johnson and moving into the second position, which allows me to set my target now to the number 18 of Kyle Busch with just 35 laps to go in this race as we head down into turns 1 and 2. Johnson moving way up the track in my mirror, and that's going to lose him some time as once again to get sideways through the center of the corner, allowing me to get a lot of momentum on the back of the 18 as we head down the back straightaway. Not enough though as we head into turn 3. We're going to look to his outside as we come into the corner now, pretty even with Kyle Busch through the center of turns 3. But as we exit turn 4, Kyle Busch has the momentum and he will clear me as we exit the corner down the front straightaway as we cross the line to hit 34 to go in this race, as me and Kyle Busch both pulling away from the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who now battles with the 95, his former teammate of Kasey Kahne, as Kasey Kahne's in his final season with that team. As we look to the inside of the 18 of Kyle Busch down the back straightaway as we head down into turns 3, trying to take the lead, and we will do just that as we have taken the lead in turns 3, and now we try to run away with this race with still a lot of time left still in this race, so it's certainly not going to be an easy one as we still have 33 to go, as Kyle Busch is right on my back bumper into turns 1, as we can just really pick up the momentum as we exit turn 2, but certainly looking like we are now in command at this point in the race. And by the time we came to lap 50, we stretched out the gap between myself and Kyle Busch, now about a second gap between himself and I, so we were certainly pulling away as we exited turn 2 down the back straightaway, just trying to make it to the end of this race, but we would end up getting a caution, which would change everything as we would have to come to pit road like the AI, and I decided we are going to be safe here and take 2 tires, 2 right side tires, to make sure that we're going to be okay when it comes to the tire wear, and that would cost me a handful of spots. We would drop down to the 11th position, but fortunately we have a fast car. I wasn't too concerned as the green flag is back out, and we are once again underway here in New Hampshire as we cross the line. It is now 23 laps to go in this race as we head down into turns 1. William Byron looking on my left rear as we get sideways, making contact with the 10 of Eric Almirola now as we exit turn 2, going way up the track, kind of pushing Almirola wide as he is 4 wide behind me as we let William Byron clear me down the back straightaway so I can get to that inside line, getting into his back bumper a bit, looking to his inside, going under the yellow line, trying to make this pass on him as I'm being pretty aggressive at this point in the run. Obviously, we have to be aggressive as we are running out of time to get towards the front after we've been shuffled back due to the pit stops now as we head into turns 1, sideways, barely making contact with the 88 of Alex Bowman as Kyle Busch leads still over second place of Jimmy Johnson in third place. Kasey Kahne as we head down the back straightaway behind the 31 of Newman, and we're going to get into the back of him, and sideways he goes for a spin, and up the track we go trying to avoid him, and we hit the 41 of Kurt Busch as well, and he also goes spinning as we just brought out the caution, as that was 100% my fault, and I take full blame for that situation, and they're probably not going to be very happy with me about it. But I could not worry about what I just done. We have to worry about trying to win this race as the green flag is back out. It is now less than 20 laps to go in New Hampshire. And now as we cross the line, looking to the inside of the 12 of Blaney, making a 3 wide as we head down into turns 1. Blaney moving quite a bit up the track as we just about make contact with them as they're 4 wide behind us. But we come out of turn 2 side by side with the 14 of Clint Boyer, making a little bit of contact with him as we head down the back straightaway. Moving back in to the top 5, and as we head into turns 3, I could have maybe dived to the inside of the 95, but I thought better of it. Now as we head through the center of the corner, looking to the inside of the 22 of Joey Logano's Jimmy Johnson has taken the lead late in New Hampshire as we side draft the 22 of Logano down the front straightaway with 18 laps to go, and we would head down into turns 1 and 2 still on his inside as his teammate Blaney tries to look to my inside. But as we exit turn 2, we would clear the 22 of Logano and get a huge run on the back of the 95 of Kasey Kahne, and obviously I'm going to look to the inside of him as we head down into turns 3, trying to pass Kasey Kahne in the number 95, and we will do just that now through turn 3, getting a little bit sideways, but we do clear Kasey Kahne as we exit turn 4, now moving up into the 3rd position. By the time we came to lap 61, closing in now on the back of the 18 of Kyle Busch with 15 laps to go in this race as Jimmy Johnson continues to lead as we try to build up a big run on the exit of turn 2, and we will do just that down the back straightaway. We look to the inside of the 18 of Kyle Busch now. It looked like he almost went for the block, but he thought better of it now as we head down into turn 3. But behind us, we have a bit of an issue with Keselowski going into turns 3, and he's going to have a tire go out, and around he goes, and that's going to bring out a caution late once again in this race, and we would obviously be in 2nd place, but unfortunately we're going to be restarting on this outside line, so not what we need at all as we get ready to restart here in New Hampshire. Once again, the green flag is back out. It is 11 laps to go as we try to win this race in New Hampshire, starting from that outside line with Blaney on my back bumper and Kyle Busch on Johnson's back bumper as we head down in to turns 1 and 2, trying our best to make this outside line work, but obviously it's likely not going to happen. But we built enough of a run out of turn 2 to keep the momentum up, and we would just about clear Kyle Busch, but unfortunately we can't clear him as we head down into turn 3 now, looking to the outside of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson through the center of the corner, becoming pretty even with him. But as we exit turn 4, he will clear me down the front straightaway. As remember back at Daytona, Johnson's door slammed me once and put me in the wall once as well. So we had 2 incidents that were 100% his fault. So keep that in mind throughout this battle now as we exit turn 2, losing the spot to Kyle Busch, but we built up such a big run on the exit of the corner that we easily clear him down the back straightaway as we head down into turn 3 on that back bumper of Jimmy Johnson. And I want to try and pass him cleanly for this victory if we can make it happen, but by the time it came to 4 laps to go, Johnson started pulling away just a little bit, and I was struggling to keep up with him as we exit turn 2, trying to cut the corner just a little bit more and build up the momentum. But as we come down the back straightaway, you see he's just continuing to increase the gap now, but obviously down the back straightaway is our only chance as we do close it up there, but he's even further away going through there as we get very sideways as we come out of turn 4 down the front straightaway, and that really might have been the last straw as we hit 3 to go in this race. And by the time we came to a lap and a half to go, still about the same gap between myself and the 48 as we head down into turn 3, sending it in pretty deep because I felt like that was my only chance to try and make something happen as we exit turn 4 now, coming to the white flag in New Hampshire within range of the 48. If we can get to his back bumper, the last time we had a chance to win, we finished 2nd in Michigan, and it looks like we might do that again as we come through turns 1 and 2, sliding a lot, and that's probably going to do it now as we exit turn 2, trying my best to close up to the 48 of Jimmy Johnson as we head down into turns 3 for the final time in New Hampshire. We send it in deep, but it's not going to be enough. Jimmy Johnson is able to hang on through turns 3 and 4, and as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway, Jimmy Johnson will get his 2nd win of the season as we will come up just short with a 2nd place finish, which was very unfortunate, but considering I used the preset setup, I was pretty impressed with that. But it would have been really nice to get that victory, but just unfortunately we just couldn't get there. And really, I maybe should have moved the 48 out of the way considering what he did in Daytona, so I should have maybe moved him out of the way with like 10 or so laps to go, but I decided to try and pass him cleanly, and unfortunately we just couldn't hang with him at the end. And there you see the point standings. Kevin Harvick still leading the overall standings with myself in 3rd, Truex 2nd, Johnson's at 6th now with his 2 wins on the season, so very good for Jimmy Johnson, and it would have been nice if we could have got our 2nd win there. But we're going to try our best to get that 2nd win shortly. We're going to Pocono, I believe, in the next episode, which we've had solid runs there. But last time we were there, it didn't go well as we decided to provoke Jimmy Johnson because he says we're driving all over the place, with maybe him forgetting what he did to me in Daytona. Not sure why Jimmy has the right to say that, but we might have a bit of a rivalry now brewing with the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. So it certainly could turn into something as we'll have to wait and see what happens in the coming episodes, but certainly tensions are rising between myself and Jimmy Johnson with the incidents in Daytona and battling for that win here today in New Hampshire. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated, and I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my videos. As Chase Elliott's now the first car out of the playoffs, 2 points out behind Blaney, so we'll see what happens in the next episode if Elliott can get himself back inside the playoffs. So thank you for watching, everyone, and have yourselves a great day. I will see you guys in the next episode.